This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 91. Wowee. In today's show, I speak to Charlie Chappell, or Clarification Charlie, whichever one you want, and we speak about a quite controversial topic. You know, on this show we like to talk about important world issues, politics, stuff like this. So that's why we're talking about going to the toilet on today's show, or pooing. They go together really, don't they? People say you shouldn't really talk about these things, but why not? Who makes the rules? So that is why on Rock and Roll English we are breaking the rules. Oh yeah. There's a lot of rock and roll vocabulary. So much so, it's going to take me at least an hour to make the quiz. But it's good news for you, at least. Not good news for me. But remember to go to the website, rockandrollenglish.com, find today's episode, read the vocabulary, do the quiz, and just have some fun, really. Anyway, I'm going to stop speaking now. Happy listening. Clarification Charlie, how are you today?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, all the better now that you're on the show. Last week I had to speak to a horrible man called Boom Boom Cannon, but now I've got this beautiful girl to look at again. The most beautiful girl on Rock and Roll English.
Thank you. Still carrying that torch, I see.
I am indeed. Nice rock and roll vocabulary to start, which in this context means still using that joke. That's the thing about me, Charlie. I only have about 3 jokes, but I just keep using them and using them. So that's, who needs more jokes?
Well, exactly. 3's a good number.
Exactly. The magic number, some might say. So, Charlie, do you know what we're talking about today?
I don't actually.
Well, you say that. I mean, I did send you... I was going to say text message, but it was actually a WhatsApp message telling you exactly what the podcast was about. But have you already forgotten?
Well, I did read it, but...
That's a good start. Thank you for that. I did read it. You do read my messages. Thank you. You're so kind.
Was it toilet etiquette?
Yes, it was indeed.
Yes. Okay.
So, toilet etiquette, etiquette is... like rules, let's say, but
yes.
Not rules that, you can get arrested for, just rules that people understand. Unwritten rules, if you want.
Yeah, I like that. Unwritten rules, definitely.
Well,
yeah.
That's me. Missed that rock and roll vocabulary. Anyway, because Charlie and I did a podcast on the full members area the other day, talking about toilet and just stuff on the toilet, where I kindly told Charlie that she is one of the people I would be happy to call whilst I'm doing a poo.
I felt very special. I felt like, very, very honoured at that point in time.
You should be, okay? So that got me thinking about the toilet. I thought it's an interesting place, isn't it? Lots of strange things happen there. It's a bit of a taboo subject. What's a taboo?
A taboo subject, I suppose, is something that you're not really supposed to say, something you're not supposed to talk about.
Exactly. But, this is rock and roll English, so we're going to face all of these difficult subjects to talk about. Say, fuck the rule book, okay? We're going to talk about this taboo subject.
Okay.
So we're going to jump straight in at the deep end. Some more rock and roll vocabulary. What does that mean, Charlie?
Well, I suppose if you jump in at the deep end, it likens it to like a swimming pool, doesn't it? Where you jump straight in. I suppose you can get right down into the nitty gritty.
Oh, even some more rock and roll vocabulary. So the nitty gritty is like the important stuff. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So, Charlie, do you sit on public toilets? What's your approach to public toilets as a girl?
I suppose I do sit on the toilet. Yes. Depends.
This is why we said jumping straight at the deep end, because we're getting straight to the difficult questions.
I know. I've done a couple of episodes now. You're just getting straight in there. It's absolutely fine. I do sit on them. It depends where I am, I think, sometimes. If I've gone to, in a dark, dirty club or something, I might hover. Well,
hover, that's it, exactly. That's what I was going to talk about. The hover technique, which is when you just stay above it. Or even I suppose to hover, you need to squat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some places are pretty grim. You don't want to go near it, really.
Exactly. Nice rock and roll vocabulary there. When she says grim, like generally disgusting, horrible. And what about poos in public? Have you done any of them? Do you like to do them in public?
No.
Well, not in public so everyone's looking, but in a public place.
No, I genuinely have a real issue with that. I can't do it.
Well, it is difficult. I mean, I had problems with it in the past, but when nature calls, there's not a lot you can do. My technique is to pad the toilet. So I say pad, I mean put like layers of toilet paper on the toilet seat. Well, first of all, clean the toilet seat, pad the toilet seat, sit down, and then just go free. Okay, just let nature do its thing. That is what I love to do. No,
I have a big issue with it. I really do. And there is a phantom pooer in the girls' toilets at school.
So a phantom pooer, the word phantom means like a mystery. So there was a mystery pooer that someone just kept coming into the school and just pooing.
Yeah, well, actually, it's in the staff toilets, so it's one of the females, and then it's just left there. It's grim. It's like, who the fuck does that?
There's that word again, grim. I thought you were talking about when you were at school, because obviously now I forgot you're a real teacher. You still work in a school. You still go to school. Oh,
yeah. Still the same problems. 20 years on, still the same issues.
Well, that's the thing about pooing as well. Everyone can relate to it. Everyone understands it. We can talk to, young children about pooing, old adults, whatever you want. Everyone does it. So it's a thing for everyone. I like to speak to everyone, Charlie, okay?
Yeah,
many different people listen to the podcast. The thing about pooing in public, I've had this a few times, is someone's done a poo before you, a really smelly one. I go in just for a quick 30-second piss, and then I come out, and then the next person coming in thinks I did the smelly shit.
Yeah, that's just general public toilet issues, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is it. This is why we're talking about it. See what we can do to resolve them. Although I must admit, there have been times as well when I walked out the toilet and I was the one that did the smelly shit, but then I had to say that wasn't me, that was the person that was before, just to save face. Oh, rock and roll vocabulary. What does it mean, save face?
It means like to sort of stop yourself from looking stupid or embarrassing yourself.
Exactly. I didn't want the person to think I did the poo, so I had to save face. I didn't want to embarrass myself. Speaking of public toilets as well, I saw another very strange thing in a public toilet here in Palermo recently. Had a sort of guard on, like the water part of the toilet. I think it was to stop people like putting toilet paper down in the toilet too much, but it was also preventing pooing. It was like a guard against poos. I've actually got a picture of it on my phone. I will probably put it on the site if anyone's interested in what a poo guard looks like.
So they're basically stopping people from doing a poo.
Well, that's exactly what it looked like to me. But I don't know about these toilet things. Speaking of different toilet stuff, techniques and stuff, what about a pooing position? Have you got one of them?
God.
Just the standard one?
No, I haven't.
See, I actually have now. What I do, I can't remember where I read this. You have to put like a seat under your feet, so your knees are up more towards your face, and it's just much more of a great position to let that poo just fly out.
Well, they do say that actually it is better, like squat toilets are a lot better than the Western world use.
Exactly, and this is the best substitute, okay? I'm the best of both worlds.
So you put books under your feet?
No, I have a small chair. I just put my feet on the chair.
Oh my God.
But, as you said, it is supposed to be better for you, so my poos are probably much better than yours. And my arse... My arse, notice here I say arse, not ass, like most people think.
Yeah.
My arse is probably a lot cleaner than yours, Charlie. So how about that? How does that make you feel?
I don't know. Pretty miffed, actually.
A bit miffed. Oh, some real rock and roll vocabulary. Like a bit miffed. I don't know what to say. I'm a bit confused almost. Speaking of clean arses, though, obviously you're British. I mean, I am as well, but I'm almost not now. Like I've lived abroad for a few years now. And British people don't use bidets, do they? Bidets are like the little bath things to clean your arse.
Yeah, I never really understood those. Is it French? It comes from France, right?
I think so, by the name. But they're big here in Italy. Everyone goes crazy about the fact that they're not in England, basically.
Right.
So it's quite a refreshing experience, though. It's very strange at the beginning for us, obviously British people. But once you get a bit of water in your arse, it's just such a refreshing feeling, let me tell you. So not only have I got that squatting position to shit in, I also use a bidet. So my arse is so clean, you could probably, I don't know, eat your breakfast off it.
So your arse is probably cleaner than my kitchen counter.
I would say so. And if you do, or if anyone wants to eat breakfast from my arse, just let me know, okay? We can arrange it. Don't worry, it's fine.
Oh, God.
That is a term, though, in England. It's so clean you could eat your breakfast off it. As a sort of obviously joke, I don't really expect anyone to eat breakfast from my arse. It'll be hot as well. Imagine you could put an egg in there. I don't know.
Does your arse still have the tattoo that says BJ on it?
Yes, it does. Thank you for bringing that up. So thanks for talking about that. It's more of the arse cheek. So the arse cheek is like the bit of skin to the side there. I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before. It's a long story. I basically got my name in Chinese tattooed onto my arse. I don't know why. I was very young. And it looks like it says BJ, which means something else in English, doesn't it, Charlie?
It does. Very funny.
We won't go into that. Well, let's just stick to the pooing.
Okay.
So, any toilet rules in your house? Obviously, the classic thing is that men leave the toilet seat up. Does that happen in your house? Are there any rules that you make?
No, I wouldn't say we necessarily have any rules. Well, my husband's quite considerate in the fact that he does tend to put the toilet seat down.
What a romantic man. I mean,
I know.
Oh God, that is so nice. He's such a considerate man, just putting the toilet seat down.
Yeah, one thing I would say is since having our daughter, when he does go for a poo, it does take him quite a bit longer. I think he uses it as his special quiet time away from everyone nagging him.
Good idea. So nagging him, that's a rock and roll piece of vocabulary. It means like
to constantly go on about something.
Yeah, it's constantly like, have you done this? That's nagging. And what about sort of going in front of people? Like, do you ever piss or shit in front of anyone?
No.
No, literally no one.
I will wee in front of my husband. I will do that.
Notice there she says wee. Such an elegant lady there. I will wee in front of my husband, my considerate husband that puts the toilet seat down.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I would not do a poo in front of anyone.
Yeah, so I would.
Would you really?
Oh, yeah.
What, in front of Mrs. R&R?
Mrs. R&R. Yeah, I would. I don't know if she would like to sit there. I don't know, and watch it. I don't know. Maybe people can buy tickets to watch the event. I don't know if anyone's interested.
The event that then ends with someone eating their breakfast off your ass. Sounds
Exactly.
like a whole day event.
Well, like exactly. That the start of the event could just be like me sitting on the toilet, and then the end of like eating breakfast. That's like the finale, isn't it?
Yeah.
How the show ends. Yeah.
Wow, the grand finale, as they say.
Exactly. But that moves me on nicely to the next point of the difference between men's toilets and women's toilets, because I don't think I've ever been in women's toilets since I was probably about 7 at school, and that was a crazy day, let me tell you. But I've always just had this image that the girls' toilets are like heaven. Is that how they are?
No, I already told you about my experience at work.
I just can't. Well, I think it was because my memory is probably, I don't know, a bit hazy. Oh, some rock and roll vocabulary there. What does it mean if you've got hazy memory?
When something's hazy, it's almost like you can't quite see something clearly.
Yeah, it's like, well, maybe in this case, my memory, I can't remember it so well, but I seem to remember it being like heaven.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that's not the case.
Well, it depends. There are some toilets out there that are amazing.
I thought you were going to say that are actually like heaven. So, you walk into the toilet, you think, have I died, or am I just in the girls' toilets? I don't know.
No, well, I suppose when you go out, some toilets have like a whole sort of array of things, don't they? So you can get those, sometimes certain nightclubs, there's sort of products for you to use and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, in the men's toilets, there's normally someone selling stuff with like some classic rhymes of things like clean your fingers for the mingers.
Oh my God.
So mingers, by the way, would mean like not very good looking girls. So just think about that for a minute, what they say. Clean your fingers for the mingers, and just horrible stuff like this. So it sort of puts me off buying anything from them.
Yeah, I bet.
Nice phrasal verb there, Charlie. Puts me off. What does that mean?
If it puts you off, it means it makes you not want to do something.
Exactly, absolutely not. A lot of P's I've noticed in this episode, like piss, poo, put off. So my microphone is just going crazy with all these P's. It just can't handle it. So obviously, as a girl, you don't have to deal with this problem, which is a serious problem for all men. All the men listening, I'm sure, will be able to relate to this, because obviously we have the urinals where you can piss just standing up.
Yes.
But we have this, again, etiquette of unwritten rule of where you can't go to a urinal next to someone. If there's 3, unless you're about to die, you cannot go to the one next to it. And if someone does, it's the most embarrassing thing in the world. I still remember when I was at school, I was about 14, there were 3 urinals. I was doing my thing, I was on the end, and a teacher decided to come in the middle one. He didn't go for the other end. He went next to me and made me feel incredibly stupid when he pulled out his, like, elephant penis.
Isn't it another unwritten rule that you just don't look?
Well, I mean, if someone's coming next to me, I'm having a look. Okay.
What if there's 3 urinals, does someone just not go in the middle? Because then that's just saying that someone's bound to go next to you.
No one will go in the middle unless you absolutely have to. People, you will wait unless you really, really are in trouble.
Yeah.
But like I said, if there's one on the other end, that can be forgiven. Okay, like 3 in a row is fine. But if there's 2, 3, and then you go to the one next to someone, you should be arrested for that. I think they should put a law in where if you do that, you should be arrested. It should move from etiquette to the actual law. So I think that's enough of like adult toilet stuff. Let's get into children's toilet stuff.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think like we will be arrested for this. I was going to say I will be arrested, but you're part of it now.
Right.
Okay. So if I'm going down, I'm bringing you down with me. Okay. Because now we're going to very nicely talk about children on the toilet. Okay. So obviously you have a daughter. What's her like pooing situation?
Well, she's only just over 1, so she's still in nappies,
So nappies are like the underwear, let's say, for children that they can just fill up all day. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant in some respects, but my God, it's done a stink when she does go.
It's a nice rock and roll vocabulary. Stink, something that smells very bad. But it's just great. You can just go free all day, can't you? Just keep going.
Yeah, I suppose it's quite nice, isn't it? Don't have to stop for anything, do you?
Exactly. And I'm sure one day your daughter will listen to this podcast and she'll be so happy to hear that you were discussing how she poos in front of the whole world. I don't know if everyone in the whole world are listening, but people from all around the world are listening, that's for sure.
There we go.
So I've obviously got 2 nieces. Both of them now are off the potty. So the potty is like the toilet for children out of nappies. The older one, who's 5, when I went home last time, she said, I need to go to the toilet. And I thought she still needed help to like wipe her ass, to like clean her. So I said, do you need any help? She said, yeah. Like makes me suffer of wiping her ass. And then when I come out, my brother said, no, she just does it herself now. So all she wanted to do was make me suffer. It was absolutely horrible.
God, she wanted a bit of company whilst on the toilet.
No, she doesn't like the company. She sends me out the room, like when she's actually like squeezing, like, you know, like she sends me out the room, and then she just does the classic child thing of finished. And then I went in and cleaned it, but then she was just making me look stupid. She knows how to clean her ass.
Brilliant.
So, you know, thanks a lot for that. I also saw in an article, I typed in toilet etiquette in Google, and one of the things on one of the articles said, do not spit on the walls.
Why would anyone spit on the walls?
I thought if we're listing things that we just can't do, it's like, you know, don't punch someone in the face, like don't murder anyone. Like there's a lot of these things that have just got no relevance that we could talk about, but is it really necessary?
Who would do that? Who?
Although you say that, one of our friends from university, I won't mention the name, I remember going into his room once because he had to give me a DVD, and in the middle of the conversation, he just spat on the floor.
I know exactly who
What?
that is as well. And I bet that DVD was in a shit state as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But, that's the type of thing that, I don't know, British people do. I don't know. British people as well, with their no B-days. You should really think about that, Charlie.
I know. Maybe I'll get one installed, seeing as you sold it so highly.
Well, I think you should. Keep us updated on the situation, okay? And maybe your arse situation, if it gets cleaner or anything like that. Okay? We all want to know, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
No problem at all. Anyway, on that note, Charlie, of your arse, I probably think that's a good time to say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, as always, Clarification Charlie. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Clarification Charlie and me speaking about toilets and poos and stuff like that. So let's look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. At the beginning, Charlie said to me, "Oh, you're still carrying that torch, I see." When I said again, she was the most beautiful girl on rock and roll English. It means you're still continuing that joke. As I said though, I've only got about 3 jokes. So yes, I am still continuing that joke. I'm still carrying that torch. We had the word etiquette, which remember is like unwritten rules, let's say. We had the word taboo. Talking about pooing and stuff like that is generally a taboo subject, something you shouldn't really talk about. But as I said at the beginning of the show, fuck the rules. We also had the term jump straight in at the deep end when I started the show immediately with some difficult questions. That is jumping in at the deep end. Often you can get thrown in at the deep end. If you start a new job and they put you immediately in the most difficult situation, you can say they threw me in at the deep end. We had the word nitty gritty. When you get into the nitty gritty, notice get into the nitty gritty, it's the small details, let's say, the fine details. It's a slang way to talk, but it's quite a nice way to talk. We had the term hover. When you hover, especially over a toilet, it's when you're just above it. It's like a hovercraft, which is one of those boat things that just goes above the water. I don't know if it touches it. I don't know how they work. I'm not that interested, to be honest. But it's when it's just above something. We had the word grim. So grim is something disgusting, not very nice. We often use that for bars, like a really grim bar, grim nightclub. It's like, ugh, a bit disgusting. We had the term when nature calls. So when nature calls, it means you need to go to the toilet. And nature can call at any time, as we know. Mother Nature. We also had the term pad. When you pad something, for example, the toilet, you put toilet paper on it, but different layers. Because obviously one piece of toilet paper isn't not enough. So you need to put toilet paper on toilet paper and build something, let's say. A castle of toilet paper, I don't know. To pad the toilet so your skin doesn't touch the toilet. We had the word phantom. A phantom pooer, Charlie mentioned, exists in her work. If there is a phantom pooer, it's a mystery pooer. No one knows who this pooer is. So if anyone can help us, please let us know. We had the term save face. When you save face, you do something to not embarrass yourself. We also had the term it's so clean you can eat your breakfast off it. Notice you can eat your breakfast off it. In the podcast, we were talking about my arse being clean. Generally, we don't use it for that kind of stuff, but if you clean the floor, for example, you can say it's so clean you can eat your breakfast off it, although still not recommended. We had the word cheek. When Charlie asked me if I still have a tattoo on my arse cheek. You have cheeks on your face, either side of your nose, but also on your arse. And one thing I forgot to mention to Charlie during the show is that, of course, I still have that tattoo. I think I need to explain to her how tattoos work. Anyway, that's for another show. We had the term nagging. If someone nags at you, they're always asking you, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Generally, mums are famous for nagging. We also had the term wee when Charlie said she will wee in front of her husband. That's a nice way to say piss, let's say, because piss is quite vulgar. We had hazy memory. So hazy is when something is not clear. It's used very often with memory. If you have a hazy memory, that means you can't remember something so well. Very common after a night's drinking to say my memory is a bit hazy. I have a hazy memory. We had the term minger, and minger is a very slang term for someone that is not very attractive, let's say. We had the term put me off buying something. If something puts you off doing something, puts you off eating something, it means it changes your decision. You were interested in doing it, now you're not. And notice it is puts me off buying, followed by the ing. Oh yeah, rock and roll grammar, baby. We had the term nappies, which are like the underwear children wear so they can just shit and piss all day. And we had the term stink. If something stinks, it smells very bad. The term Charlie used for this was some real rock and roll vocabulary, actually, when she said it doesn't half stink when she does a poo, when she was talking about her daughter's poos. Notice that it doesn't half stink. It's to say it really does smell. And we also had the term potty. A potty is the toilet, let's say, that children use when they go out of nappies and before they go to the toilet. It's like the middle of the road, let's say. Anyway, all of that rock and roll vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com. Go there, have fun, do the quiz, but most importantly, just keep on rocking, people.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.